Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Stuff I Heard. This is the podcast by Josh Peak, where I talk about stuff I heard. Today is Wednesday, September the 12th. I still don't know why I'm doing the date thing, not like any of you care. Anyway, September 12th, we have a giant hurricane that's approaching the Carolinas. Many of you have probably heard about it on the news. If you're anywhere near us, I'm sure it's like the number one thing that you're watching. I don't know if you're like out west, if it is, but it might be like a small blurb in the weather section. But we have a giant, massive hurricane called Florence, coincidentally, because I live in Florence, South Carolina. We have this giant hurricane that's over 400 miles in diameter, which is bigger than our state. And it's kind of approaching. We're not really sure when it's going to hit or where. They're trying to make best guesstimates, but this thing is unlike any other hurricane that we've experienced in my lifetime because it is strengthened and then it's supposedly going to just sit off the coast for a day and just dump water on the north end of it. It's going to sit off the coast and just pick up water and throw it on land. So if you're on the north end of this thing or around the sheer wall of it, you're going to get a lot of wind and a lot of rain damage. Current models show that it may dip even further south, and if it does, it's actually going to go underneath us just a little bit, but just enough so that we're going to get a huge impact from that. For a week or so, we've been watching this thing, and it's been getting closer and closer to us. And we've been watching it sort of look like it was going to go into the middle of North Carolina. And, we were asking ourselves, okay, we're in South Carolina, what does that mean for us? If we're on the bottom half of the spin, is it going to mean a lot of wind only? Or are we going to get any of that rain? How much rain? How much wind? I'm not really sure. Hurricane Matthew came through here a couple of years ago, and it kind of skirted the coast, and we got a lot of wind and a lot of rain from that. And this had the potential of really being, it still does have the potential of being really devastating, more so because of the flooding than anything else. There's parts of North Carolina, I was just looking at the news, that are going to get over 30 inches of rainfall, which is a lot. That's almost 3 feet of water that's going to be dumped on them. So if you've got anybody in the area, or if you're in the area, get out of there. If you know anybody in the area, offer them a place. Just say get out of there. Just hurry. Just turn around and leave. Just don't even grab what's important and get out of there. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. I was working in Wilmington yesterday. The company that I work for, we had trucks in a drop yard in Leland, which is just west of Wilmington. And we knew it was going to be bad enough that we decided to end all truck activity and bring our equipment back to Florence so that it can kind of hold out through the storm back where we feel like it's a little safer in our facility area than on that yard. Plus, there is the option of, debris from the yard blowing around, or debris from the town of Wilmington blowing into our vehicles, and there's less of a chance of it here because of the direction of it and the strength of it by the time it gets here. So anyway, I made a trip up to Wilmington with a 15-passenger van that we rented from a Enterprise rental car place. Drove it up there. We had 8 routes running. When they got done, I had drivers with me that took the trucks back to Florence. I didn't get back home last night until it was about 9 or 9:30 or so, and had to turn around and go back into work today. DOT hours require you to take 10 hours off before you're legal to drive again. So I came home, I ate. I didn't even eat dinner. I drank a smoothie and showered and sat on the couch for all of maybe 20 minutes and fell asleep. And got up this morning instinctively at 5 a.m. Felt like I'd overslept, and I couldn't legally drive off the yard until 7 a.m. So I went in about 6:30 and I got everything ready and logged in at 7, and then took a truck up to Goldsboro, North Carolina today to pick up a load of chicken, so that we could have chicken at our warehouse for selling, for distributing, because got customers that need this stuff. You know, here's the weird thing is, like, you know, even though the hurricane affects the coast and us in a way, we have customers that aren't affected, and they're sitting around going, "Hey, we need food. You guys going to deliver it?" What, you know? And it's sort of a headache of a logistics thing of trying to figure out how that all gets done. And you know, that's where being a supervisor, that's where you earn your money, because then you're really trying to problem solve and figure this out and make sure that you're safe and effective and not putting anyone in harm's way, and also taking care of what needs to be taken care of. And it's kind of hard to do all those things at the same time. And I'm sure that once this hurricane passes, we're going to have to reassess and see what's available out there to even work. I don't know what's going to be left. If this thing has a tremendous impact on the North Carolina coast, or even South Carolina's coast with Myrtle Beach and all that, it's going to be interesting to see what is damaged, what's available to open, who's going to be open, if roads are passable, all that stuff. So anyway, to let you guys know, we are prepared here. We are about an hour away from the beach, but we do expect to have some results from it, from this hurricane. And I'm gonna do like I did during Hurricane Matthew. I'm gonna have cameras, and I'm gonna film as much as I can and show you guys what we're going through as we're going through it, and probably try and post something every hour on the hour, just to give you an update of what is happening. I'm saying I'm gonna try to do that, but this is such a slow-moving storm. This is gonna take all day for this thing to go by us. Not just a day. But apparently we're going to start feeling effects of it tomorrow, being Thursday. And by Saturday, it's still going to be approaching us. I mean, while it's sitting there off the ocean, it's just picking up water and throwing it on land starting tomorrow. I mean, they're going to start feeling it tomorrow at the beach in Wilmington and Topsail and all that stuff, and Calabash, and, you know, pray for those people. They're going to need every bit of prayer that they can get. I told the guys that I was with yesterday, I said, you know, I kind of want to drive the van into Wilmington and see what it looks like now, because it's not going to look like that once this is over. And, you know, looking back, like Hugo hit near Charleston back in 1989, and if you had the knowledge of what it was going to do, would you want to ride through Charleston and see it one last time before it changed forever? I mean, that's kind of how I felt about Wilmington. I kind of feel like that was our chance. We didn't do it. You know, I knew that safety crews were out trying to get into place, and that people were scurrying trying to get gas, and I was actually getting low on gas in the van that we had, and I made the decision not to take the van downtown. But I think it's going to be forever changed after this storm. So anyway, thoughts and prayers for everybody in Wilmington. You know, be on the lookout, watch the news, look for opportunities to donate blood or money or whatever to relief funds, because I'm sure that everybody's going to need it. I would like to talk for a second about this app that my wife has found through some of her friends. It's called Zello, Z-E-L-L-O. It's can you see that? It's like an orangish looking thing with a black Z in it. What it is a walkie-talkie type system where you can communicate through, I guess, walkie-talkie. And you can let people know if you're okay, you know, if you're safe, that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. I've been playing with it a little bit, and I'm thinking that it may work where your cell phone towers may be out. I think it sends it on a different signal so that it's not quite like phone calls when you chime in like a walkie-talkie. Hey, just let you know we're okay. I'm thinking that's what it is. Supposedly there's an app out there where you can get FM radio on your phone also, because apparently your phones are designed to handle FM bandwidth also. I haven't found what that is yet. Honestly, I haven't even looked. I haven't had time. I'm doing this podcast at, 9:09 p.m. Just because I just have had a chance to sit down. Last night I didn't have a chance because as soon as I got home, I had my smoothie, took a shower, sat down for a second, and was asleep. And then I just have gotten home and ate dinner, and I thought, I got to do a podcast. I know a lot of you guys are still out there working, and I hope you guys are being safe. There's a lot of linemen that are heading into the danger zone to take care of this, and a lot of National Guard people heading into the zone to take care of this. I was heading south on 95 going back to Florence today, and I must have passed a good 100 or so linemen heading north, heading right towards it. And thoughts and prayers go out to them too. I hope that they're okay. But I want to talk a little bit about stuff I heard, because this is stuff I heard. I heard a great podcast today while I was sitting at a back hall. I downloaded Second Chance Church. It is by Perry Noble. He used to be our pastor at New Spring. I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about him before. Today's podcast that I listened to was actually from Sunday's sermon. It is titled The Person I Hate the Most. And it is really, really, really good, because if you think about it, you think about people that you have beef with and people that you have words with, and sometimes the person that you're most that you dislike the most is yourself. And there's this weird thing of where you have to figure out how to forgive yourself, and how you have to accept the fact that maybe things aren't as planned, but you're moving forward anyway. And this is a great podcast. Perry's got a gift for speaking. I highly recommend checking it out. It is a delight. I've also listened to the infamous Elon Musk podcast, episode 1169 on Joe Rogan Experience. It was last Friday, 2 hours and 45 minutes of awesomeness. Elon is, in my opinion, one of the smartest people on the planet. Him and Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think, are marvels of the things that they do and the things that they know. And I guess the difference is that Neil deGrasse Tyson is figuring out these things and talking about it, whereas Elon Musk is creating things and making them a reality. He basically takes science fiction ideas and goes, I think I can make that happen, and does. And he has the Tesla out, which is an amazing electric car. He is revolutionizing green technology right now with solar panels that look like shingles, with batteries that can hold charges for longer and more efficiently. On this podcast, he kind of hints at creating a new air conditioner that is way more efficient than the one we have. He talks about how when they were designing the Tesla, that it didn't have normal car parts on the inside, and one of their biggest challenges was creating an air conditioning for a Tesla that doesn't run on a belt drive, because up to now they've all run on belt drives. So they had to create one that was efficient enough to use with batteries so that it didn't wear the batteries out faster. He said in your home, your biggest energy drain is your air conditioner unit, your heat pump. And Joe kind of asked him about it, and he said, is that something you're working on? And he's like, I can't say. Like, he's kind of like, I'm not going to talk about what I'm working on right now. So that's a yes. He's working on that. And I'm looking forward to that, because I could use that. Here in South Carolina, the heat is tremendous, and our heat pump is about 11 years old, and if Elon Musk comes out with a better one tomorrow, it would be worth looking at. I guarantee you. A lot of people gave him crap because on the podcast he sipped whiskey with Joe Rogan, and at a certain point smoked some marijuana with him, and they're like, oh my god, the CEO of the company is smoking marijuana. And like, the investors of Tesla apparently started selling off stock because they said it was irresponsible. and they couldn't put faith in a man who smoked pot on the air and blah, blah, blah. A bunch of hypocrite idiots. I just wanted to invest in them more. I mean, stock goes down 9 points. I want to invest in them because then I can afford some stock because it's going to go way up again because the guy's a super genius and he's non-stop inventing stuff that's going to make the world a better place. So, I mean, people call Steve Jobs one of the smartest men ever, and he talks openly about tripping on acid. That's how he came up with the idea for many of the devices that he's using or they created. I mean, get over yourselves, people. But this podcast is fascinating. It does not fail. Matter of fact, I wanted to watch the video of it rather than listen to it. And I normally am a listener over viewership, but I wanted to see them interact. I wanted to see Elon Musk, on a day off, where he's not out inventing laser beams and flamethrowers, not a flamethrower. And that's an inside joke. Not a flamethrower. I wanted to see him kind of just hang out with Joe and have a conversation, and that's exactly what this is. And it's great. I also listened to, let me find it, episode 1167 with Larry Sharp on Joe Rogan Experience. Larry Sharp is a business consultant, entrepreneur, political activist, and he is currently a candidate for the Libertarian Party nomination for the governor of New York. I'm listening to this podcast. Of course, I can't really do anything about it here in South Carolina. I can't vote for the guy. I mean, I can encourage you guys to look into him and possibly vote for him if you like him, but he has a lot of good things to say. I know Joe considers himself more left-wing than right-wing, but more libertarian than anything, and I feel that there's a growing number of people who feel the same way, who, if they just got together, we could break this two-party system. We could stop having a green party and a red party, a blue party and a red party, and have more people invited to the table to have a discussion so that we could find the best candidate and not the best team. This isn't about the team. He makes a good point. He says that right now there's 5 candidates that are going to debate for the governorship of New York. And he said, by our calculations, all I need is a certain percentage to win. And to do that is not difficult if the votes are split up between these, which he's got a good point. And he says that he feels that he has enough momentum and enough traction. All he needs is a little more advertising to get his name out there because not a lot of people know who he is. So I thought, hey, I have a podcast. Let me talk about it. Check him out. Check the podcast out. Listen to it. Again, you may not be able to affect it, or you may want to donate some money. You like his cause. Look into it. So I figured I'd share that information with you guys. Also, what else? Joe's got a podcast with Diamond Dallas Page. If you're into wrestling, that'll strike a nerve with you. I haven't listened to that yet. There's a lot of them on here. I just don't have time, honestly. I listened to the Bertcast episode 305 with Matt Brunger. Matt Brunger, I've heard on Pete Holmes' podcast before. They actually came up in comedy together. Pete Holmes has a podcast called You Made It Weird. I love Pete Holmes. I love the podcast, but I had to drop it from my list of podcasts because I didn't have time to catch up. I got like 20 episodes behind, and I was like, I can't. I had to make it. I had to make a cut. So I cut him. Not because I don't like him. I love listening to him. I think he's fascinating. In a lot of ways, he's a lot like Joe in his fascination for how the mind works and how meditation works and physical fitness ties into your mental health and that kind of stuff. And he has a real interest in Ram Dass and seeking a higher purpose. But like I said, I just had to cut him. I didn't have time. I didn't have space. I didn't have time. Sorry, buddy. check out Pete Holmes' stuff on HBO. He has a show on there called, what is it called? Sleepless? Homeless? No. It's where he's trying to get into. It's basically the story of his life about how he got into comedy. What's it called when you sleep on someone's couch? And you're constantly going over and sleeping on people's couch. Freeloading? No. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm trying to think of it and I can't. Let me ask Google. Maybe Google knows. Pete Holmes show on HBO.
Here is some information about Crashing. Sheltered suburban Pete dreams of a big city career.
Shh. That's enough, baby. Stop. Crashing. Crashing is a show on HBO. Because, you know, you say, hey, can I crash on your couch? It's good. He self-describes himself as he says, I think I look like a lesbian Val Kilmer. And he kind of does. Just saying. But he's an extremely funny guy. And unfortunately, I can't keep up with his podcast as well. I'm getting some good feedback from the podcast with my mom. A lot of people have reached out and said they enjoyed it. And that's good. I will definitely have her back on in the future. I think that the next time we're going to try something a little different. It's weird because as a creator, like you want to have people comfortable, and at the same time, like I have to be conscious of the fact that it's my mom, and there's certain things that I don't need to air out on a podcast, and there's certain things that I have to stay away from because of her job or my job or both of our jobs or whatever. So, you know, it's like, all right, how do you set this up? How do you steer the conversation? And then you're like, let's just stay with something normal. You know how when you're younger and you're trying to like make conversation with the grown-ups, so you learn about politics or football just enough so that you can interact with them, and you're like, so them Eagles are doing okay, huh? Yeah. Eagles won the Super Bowl last year, in case you didn't know. When my youngest boy was growing up, I used to encourage him to watch football with me once in a while, and he's like, I don't care about football. And I said, I understand that. And I said, but listen, when it's time for the Super Bowl, watch the Super Bowl with me, because I guarantee you there's going to be a conversation about it tomorrow. And guys do tend to watch the Super Bowl, and especially nowadays, even girls watch the Super Bowl because they want to talk about it with the guys. My wife told me that she got into watching football just so she could talk to guys at her school when she was younger. She's like, I wanted to be able to talk to the guys, and the only way I could do that is if I watched football and learned football. And she's like, my family didn't watch football. I did it on my own. And, you know, I kind of felt like it was something that would be good for him to do. And so I kind of forced his hand to watch the Super Bowl with us and pay attention a little bit. So that way tomorrow when you go to school, everybody's like, hey man, did you see the game? Oh yeah, I sure did. It just makes conversation easier. Some things you do just because it makes conversation easier. So, speaking of conversation being easier, with this hurricane coming through, there's going to be a lot of people off work, and a lot of you are going to be home with your in-laws and your outlaws and your kids and whatever else, and you're going to be sitting around going, so what's new with you? And there may be some awkward silences, and there may be some strange requests for a liquor store to being open that may not be open, and many of you are going to feel like you're trapped with your in-laws and whatnot, and I don't know what to tell you. This is where you're supposed to be good with conversation. This is where you get to fine-tune that muscle in your brain where you go, hey, I like you, guy and gal, and you know, hey, let's see if we can figure out where we have common ground again. I know we've gotten busy over the years, but, you know, it's worth an effort. And family's worth an effort, you know. At the end of the day, family's really the only thing that's got your back. I was having a conversation with my oldest boy today. He called me. He's living in Washington State, I sent him a text message asking if he was keeping up with the storm, and he called me and he's like, yeah, what are y'all's plans? And I was like, well, we're gonna stick it out. And I asked him about his brother. His brother's living with his mom and her mom, and they live more towards the coast. And I asked him, I said, you know, did they have anywhere to go? And he said, no, not really. And I know a lot of it's because she's pissed off the entire family over the years. My ex-wife has pissed off the entire family over the years, and none of them want to help her anymore. And I know that if I go and help my youngest boy, that I'm going to feel responsible for also inviting them. And I don't know that I want to invite them. I mean, I know as a Christian I'm not supposed to be that way, and I'm supposed to be like, oh no, you're all welcome, come on, it's fine. I don't know if I can. I'm going to pray on that. I'm going to pray on that tonight, and try and decide what the right thing to do is by the morning and act accordingly. But I'm also looking at the news and thinking, hey, yeah, y'all might be okay. It looks like you're just going to get a whole bunch of rain. And if that's the case, I mean, it's just rain. What am I saving them from? Rain? I mean, if this thing got stronger and all of a sudden it's like a pending doom situation, then I'll rush into the pending doom and say, get in the truck, let's go, and whole boogie out of there. But if it's just a lot of rain, then I'm more inclined to let them figure it out. You know, here's the weird thing is I extended an olive branch and I sent them a text message and I said, do y'all have a plan? I'm just curious if you're going to be okay. And they text back, yeah, we're going to pray. I was like, okay. And I kind of, you know, I don't know if I should say, if I have to say, hey, if you need help, let me know. Or if I should say, hey, come on with me. I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do is. Honestly, I don't know. I have two sets of grandparents. One set of grandparents would say, no, invite them. It's the right thing to do. It's what you should do. And they're right. And I got another set of grandparents that'd be like, nah, let them burn. They pissed you off. They wronged you. They're done. Good luck. The water gets too high, swim. And in a way, they're right too. Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to pray about it and figure out something tomorrow. This is sort of a Sophie's Choice. Even though I've never seen Sophie's Choice, I hear it's what it's about. She has to make a decision on who to save. Anywho, I don't know what else to talk about, honestly. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. Silverback grills. Not silverback, Gorilla Grills. Grilla grills. Grill. And the name of their grill is a Silverback. I did some research. My buddy Greg has a Traeger grill. Traeger. They're sort of the name brand pellet grill. It's got like the hopper that feeds it into the thing, and it smokes it underneath in this little auger. And you can set the temperature. You plug it in and you set the temperature at whatever you want it to be, and that's exactly what it's going to be while it cooks. I've been doing research for over a year now, trying to decide which one of these things I want to buy. There's a lot of brands out there. There's like Camp Chef, Pit Boss, Traeger, RegTech, you name it. There's a bunch of them out there. I came across Gorilla Grills just looking through comparison videos on YouTube, and what I found was interesting about theirs is they have a double wall on the inside, so that, like, say it's cold outside and you're grilling, the temperature doesn't affect the burning of the insides, so that it doesn't use more pellets to try and stay warm. That double insulation helps keep the warm air in and the cool air out, if that makes any sense. But none of the other ones had that double layer metal, and I thought, man, that's a nice extra feature. Pretty much all of them have the Bluetooth temperature gauges that you can plug it into the meat, and it sends a thing to your phone saying when the meat's ready. Those are cool. I highly recommend those. But this Labor Day, they were running a special. It was like $300 off if you bought on Labor Day. And I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna do it. I talked to the wife and she was like, go for it. So I bought one and they delivered it today, and it's on a pallet in the garage. And it's huge. And I have tomorrow off because of the hurricane, so I think I'm gonna get up in the morning and start putting this thing together. I'll have videos that I'll link on my YouTube page under Joshua Peak, so check it out later on. I'm sure I'll have videos of putting it together, and I'll probably end up using it tomorrow. Because why have a toy if you're not gonna play with it, right? So, but yeah, Silverback Gorilla Grills. Like I said, if you're looking them up on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, or Google, don't type it as gorilla, not the animal gorilla. It's Grilla, grilla, like grill. But anyway, I looked up Gorilla Grills on Twitter, and apparently there's a bunch of bars named Gorilla Grill, and one of them is in trouble for something big time, and a lot of people are writing a lot of hate stuff about it. And I was like, whoa, what did they do? And I thought maybe that's why they're running a sale, because they did something wrong. It's not the same name, it's not the same anything. But this grill is awesome. It is awesome. That's it. I wish I had more to tell you. I don't really. It's gonna be fun next couple of days. Pray for us with the hurricane. I have made a commitment to do 2 podcasts a week, and so I made sure to get this one out. I'm gonna try and do another one on Saturday, assuming we're not blowing away. I may do one Saturday, and you'll hear the wind the whole time. We'll see. Stay tuned for more. Appreciate all the folks reaching out on Instagram and on Gmail and all that stuff. Thanks. Y'all take care.